Hello YouTube and welcome to our very first We Play. As you can see, we're going to be playing Terraria. I've already established a world. It is a large sized world, so we do have a bit of exploration to do. In this episode we will just be covering NPCs and bosses, just so you know what you are in for. And we'll start with the NPCs. Okay, so the very first NPC that you actually start the world with is the guy. That's this guy right down here. Trent, he's actually been named. He is useful for telling you a little bit of hints, I would say, for how to create certain things, depending what you actually have in your inventory at the time. In the room next to him, we have the dye trader. He will sell you the dyeing vat, is that correct? Yes, the dye vat. So you can actually colour your vanity items. I haven't actually used it specifically myself, but we might have a bit of a play around with that later on. Now, to unlock the dye trader, you need to... Ooh, bear with me, I'm just going to go collect that star. These stars fall randomly and... What is that? Oh, it's a squirrel. Oh, there you go. Trying to steal my star. Right, yes, those stars fall randomly at night. Crafting items, also ammunition for an item called the Star Cannon, quite one of a reasonably powerful weapon in the game. But anyway, back to the dye trader. How do we unlock him again? Right, so he'll unlock as soon as you picked up any item that can be created into a dye. Now I will point out before I continue on, when you unlock these NPCs, they'll generally just wander around the spawn point. This is okay and all, but that does leave them open to attack from monsters. So it's always good to make yourself a little room for them, which they will allocate themselves once you've the room is established, of course. The room needs to be consistent of a table and chair or some equivalent of. So you can see with mine, all pretty generic, but I've got enough rooms there for all the others as well. Now, back to the actual NPCs we've got over here. He is the Demolitionist. Now, he's going to sell you explosives. You can unlock him after you've picked up some kind of bomb, I believe. Yeah, so we've picked up any kind of bomb. You can find those from monster drops or more commonly in chests which are scattered around the world. So you can get yourself some dynamite, bombs, or grenades from him. On this next level, I've got over here the Merchant. Merchant's one of the earlier ones you can pick up as well. He'll turn up after you've collected yourself at least 50 silver pieces onto the world. So he's got a few extra items like health potions, mana potions, a lot of the basics. His main item would be the safe and the mining helmet. Mining helmet is just a little helmet which actually has a light on it, which is quite handy for early on in the game. Then you also got the safe, which is good for storing your money if you have a multiplayer server, because you don't want to lose your money when you've got a whole lot of you facing the wall of flesh, for instance. Let's see, over here we have Daryl. Who was Daryl again? Daryl was our arms dealer. Yeah, so he's got a few extra pieces there. Flintlock pistol, musket balls for ammunition, mine chuck. You can pick those up normally anyway. Oh, that's another star. I have to go get that one now. The arms dealer, you unlock him when you picked up a gun of some sort. So again, you can find those from chests and whatnot. So when you're exploring around in caves and dungeons and whatnot, always check your chests, because if you can find yourself a gun, you're going to get him as your NPC. Now, this guy in red here is our clothier. Now, you can unlock him specifically by defeating one of the bosses of the game, Skeletron. Skeletron is the guardian to the main dungeon of the worlds, so we'll cover him a little bit later. But after you manage to do that, you get this guy. He sells a vanity item, so you can get some threads, familiar shirt, familiar pants, and familiar wig. Now they, when equipped, will just show your basic form. You don't actually see your armor or anything, so it's okay if you don't want to see your armor but still have the benefits of it. You can just equip those and you're set to go. On the next floor up we have, oh, I'm falling the wrong direction. I want to go up here. Okay, so here we have the Dryad. Dryad will turn up after you have defeated at least one boss monster in your world. She has a few interesting things like the flower walls or the grass wall, which is your basically your backfield to actually classify as a structure as a house. Her main item is the dirt rod, so it magically creates dirt if you ever need excess amount of dirt. Now further along this level we have the painter, so as you expect he sells paints, as well as apparently paintings. So that's good if you want to spruce up the place instead of having the dreary old brown. Now, oh, to unlock the painter, almost forgot. Where's his listing? Painter. Okay, so he will unlock when you have at least the 3 other NPCs unlocked already. So he'll just turn himself up eventually himself. Down this side we have the nurse. Nurse will unlock when you've collected at least 1 heart crystal from somewhere in the world. Yes, found and used a heart crystal. So as long as you got someone who's used the heart crystal, she will turn herself up. All she actually does is sell healing. That's good for earlier on in the game, but once you got a few items, she becomes a little bit redundant, so she can just hop around anyway. Last of my currently unlocked NPCs is the party girl. So she sells a few more fun-based items like the bubble machine, which you would have noticed I've got already set it up there, blowing bubbles everywhere. Let's see, you can unlock her, I believe similar to the painter. Yeah, once you've unlocked at least 6 NPCs, she'll turn up so they can have a party. Now, of course, there are a few other NPCs which I don't yet have unlocked. For instance, the mechanic, the goblin tinker, and the wizard. The wizard, actually all 3 of those are bound. Basically, they've been captured and you have to rescue them. The mechanic is specifically from the main dungeon. The Goblin Tinker can be found in the dungeon in the underground jungle or just simply underground, but specifically after you defeat a goblin army. That's one of the boss swarms, you could say, mini boss swarms. The wizard, yeah, he's specifically after the wall of flesh. So once you've unlocked hard mode, you can get the wizard. Now the wizard I haven't got myself, so that will be one thing we'll be aiming for as soon as we get into hard mode, but we'll just have to rely on luck to find him. We've also got the Steampunker, Cyborg, Witch Doctor, Truffle, and Pirate. Now there are a few other more that we're going to be heading towards. The Truffle would probably be one we'll go pre-hard mode, because all you have to do is create either a glowing mushroom home or a mushroom biome. So we have to actually find a natural mushroom biome and get some supplies, and we should have him soon enough. Witch Doctor will be only after you defeat the Queen Bee, which is one of the new bosses of the game. The Pirate, you'll get him after defeating a pirate invasion, which is very similar to the Goblin Army. The Witch Doctor, no, covered him. Yes, the Cyborg. He'll appear after you defeated Terraria, another boss of the game. Oh, that's a star. Where'd it go? Oh, over that side. Who else was there? Was that everyone? Oh yes, the Steampunker. So I missed the star. Stars will despawn as soon as daylight hits, so if you're not quick enough, you're gonna miss out. Anywho, the Steampunker. You can unlock her once you defeat any hard mode boss, so that's going to be a later on thing to do. Now, apart from all those NPCs, you of course have the opposite. We have the bosses of the game. Now, I've already defeated 3 of. First one I fought was the King Slime. He's a mini-boss. He'll just spawn randomly, otherwise you can summon him specifically. He's basically just a guy in a large slime, which is interesting. Another one I fought would be the Eye of Cthulhu. He can spawn randomly at night, but you can also summon him specifically as well. I've defeated Skeletron. I did get a bit ahead of myself there, because I really did want to get into that dungeon, but I should have left fighting Skeletron a little bit earlier. No, rather, left him fighting later. That way I could have showed you doing that. But otherwise, I will possibly go into an alternate world and show you the fight of Skeletron. Who else do we have? We've got the Queen Bee, like I mentioned. Ooh. Should pay attention to where I'm going, shouldn't I? Oh, I didn't mean to kill the penguin. Oh dear. Sorry, penguin. Where was I? Oh yes, the Queen Bee. Queen Bee can be found in the... I believe it's in the hive, which can be found in the jungle biome. I don't know if it can be found anywhere else. Quite possibly, but we'll find that out later on. Once you've found the hive, you just have to destroy a larva, and voila, you have a Queen Bee. I believe the hives can have more than one larva, so you can find her a repeated time. Just gotta be careful not to fight her a few times at the same go. Let's see, who else do we have? Oh yes, the Eater of Worlds. The Eater of Worlds is a summon specific one. He can be a little bit on the harder side, so he'll be something later on. You can find him in the corruption after you defeat, or rather, once you break 3 shadow orbs, which are items which will spawn there. If you don't have the corruption in your world, you'll have something known as the Crimson. Something I haven't yet come across myself. It is a new addition to the game. So instead of the Eater of Worlds, you would have the Brain of Cthulhu. Now, a similar instinct where you'll have a summon of some kind. I'm assuming he'll turn up once you break those shadow orbs again. Again, I haven't seen it myself, so we'll hopefully find a world later on with the Crimson and we'll get stuck into him. I've also got a Golem, which is a summon creature from the Jungle Temple. Oh, getting attacked again. I should pay attention more. Yes, the Jungle Temple will have a Golem in there. You can awaken him once you actually unlock the temple. Unlocking the temple is not something I've done yet, because again, it is new to the game with the latest updates. Apart from the Golem, we've also got the Wall of Flesh, as you would have heard me mention before. He creates, well, unlocks rather, the hard mode of the world. So once you have hard mode unlocked, you get more bosses to go with it. First mini-boss of the hard mode world is the Wyvern. Now, depending on what size world you have created, will depend on what height he will spawn at. He's a reference to being similar to the... what was his name? The dragon creature out of Neverending Story, if you've ever seen that movie. It's kind of bugged me, I can't think of his name now. But anywho, apart from that, you also got mini-boss of... Oh, was that a squirrel? Oh, I'm sorry, squirrel. Where was I? Oh yes, another mini-boss that can spawn in the dungeon is the Paladin. Again, something I haven't come across. I believe he is new to the game, but does require hard mode to come across him. Then we've got the Twins. Now, the Twins are basically 2 Eyes of Cthulhu. They do have slightly different forms to them, so they'll do something different each when you're fighting them, but they will be at the same time, so it's actually going to be somewhat more difficult. Then we've got the Destroyer, which is essentially an upgraded version of the Eater of Worlds, a metallic version, I believe. So he's going to be quite difficult, quite hard to beat. Summoned in a similar way, but can also spawn randomly at night, I believe. Then we've got Skeletron Prime, again an upgraded version of the initial Skeletron, another metal version. So he can, I believe, also spawn randomly at night, but should be a summonable boss as well, so you can fight him when you want, as opposed to when he wants. Then we've got Plantera. Now, I don't believe it's an upgraded version of anything. I think it's just a jungle boss, which will spawn at random. No, sorry, you have to defeat another hard mode boss first, and then find a pink plant bulb to spawn Plantera, and then you'll naturally engage that battle from that point on. And the last boss is another mini boss, which is the Ice Golem. He'll spawn specifically in the snow biome, which we did pass through one earlier. During a blizzard. I've never encountered a blizzard myself, so that's probably going to be another hard mode thing. Now that is all the bosses, at least all the ones I know of. So we will get to those eventually. Next time we're going to be going straight into the dungeon, which I've just come across here. I just need to actually get up there. So we'll leave it here for now, and next time we're going into that dungeon and we are going to try and find some more of those NPCs, more specifically the mechanic, because I want to set up some traps. So for now, Master Schlee signing out.